once again, I'm Steve Saylor, running for president, proposing a new, sustainable social and economic system because our current one is responsible for all the problems we see around us, as I've explained in detail in previous videos. And not only must we get out of this infinite growth and consumption economy before we go beyond that environmental tipping point, but we must also declare an end to all aggression from one country against another before this leads us into World War III. I think we're all aware now that it's just a small group of people running this game who don't want it to change, so they have to keep us fighting each other, keep us in conflict and full of fear, using politics and religion and money to divide and control us. Well, we the people are finally seeing through the veil, and we are coming together, people all around the world, in a way that was never possible until now, to demand an end to these wars. You see, it's our communication technology which has enabled us to get to know the people in other countries who just want the same thing we all want, and that is to live in peace. They don't want to invade other countries or have theirs invaded. All of us just want the opportunity to be able to live healthy, productive lives, spend time with our families instead of going off to another war. And our soldiers understand what's going on here too, that these are wars for the corporate state, that they've been putting their lives on the line to fuel the profits of the bankers and to provide cover for our corporations to steal in and steal out with the resources. There are so many videos online now from soldiers bravely stepping forward and telling it like it is. And how many soldiers can't speak out and tell the truth because they're still in bondage, trapped in the economic slavery that lures young people who can't find decent paying jobs to become the guns for hire, the enforcers for the corporate state of America? Well, this is over now. We, the people, refuse to let these wars continue. And it is up to us in America to begin the dismantling of our military, along with the rest of the world, who will be glad to do so because they've had to keep building up their military to be able to defend themselves against us. I know we don't want to think of ourselves as the bad guys, but we are the big bully here. We're the ones who are in their countries, who are occupying their nations, building our military bases on their land, stealing their resources, or if you prefer, paying off their corrupt leaders with our made-up money to take their resources and enslave people around the world in our fictional debt scams by means of the central banker's monetary system that we enforce at gunpoint, keeping these people mired in poverty and suffering. No, they're not going to oppose the dismantling. They are going to say, "Thank God, we thought you'd never leave us alone." And it's really no surprise when you see these polls and surveys from other countries where they ask, who do you think is the biggest threat to world peace? And most of them say it's us. We're the ones continually making war because it's big business and we are the leader in the business of war. Nothing to be proud of there. And the axis of evil, well, most of the world would say that would be the United States, the United Kingdom, and Israel. Yes, because it's us occupying their land, starting the wars and arming different factions in their countries with our weapons to keep the wars going and helping to do Israel's dirty work in the Middle East. Look, you can think that the invasion of Iraq was the worst mistake in foreign policy ever, and you're probably right. But you can also think that instigating more sectarian conflict and violence and destabilizing these countries in Iraq and Syria, you can think of that as everything going precisely as planned. Yeah, it's both of these things. It's a nightmare for them, for all of us. Well, it's hell on earth for them, but this is how the Zionist agenda is being carried out in Israel with the support of our little group of warmongering psychopaths. Break up these countries and expand the empires. This is exactly what's going on. You can read about it yourself. They have laid out the plan in plain sight. So is it any wonder they hate us? Not the American people so much, but our leaders who carry out these policies. But we have to take responsibility for this too, because we've allowed it to happen. And we've let them manufacture this phony war on terror, which is really the war on people who want revenge because of what we've done to them. Yeah, these terrorists are just desperate people who are trying to fight back any way they can. And we'd be doing the same thing in their shoes. Well, the wars will be over when the people refuse to fight them. And that is now. And our soldiers are refusing to fight the wars for the rich and the corporate state after they've been traumatized by what they've been forced to do and then discarded by our owners and their politicians who cut the funding for the Veterans Administration. No money, sorry. No, that fake money had to go for more tax cuts for the 1%. So our soldiers are left out to dry and die. 22 veterans commit suicide every day because we don't care. The bankers don't care, the rich don't care, the pharmaceutical companies don't care about them. Just open your mouth and take some more of our pills. We should be treating them with medicinal cannabis, the natural plant with incredible healing properties. But no money to be made off the plant, so put some more of our synthetic chemicals in your body that will compromise your immune system and scramble your brain with all those side effects like thoughts of suicide. Do you think this contributes to the 20 suicides every day? No, we don't care about them. We only care about money and what's best for the rich. And like Henry Kissinger said, soldiers are dumb, stupid animals to be used as pawns. Well, no more. We, the people, are putting an end to it. And we will begin to put an end to terrorism with one word. Yeah, here's what we do. We turn our military bases that we've built all over the world, almost 1,000 of them, we turn these military bases into medical bases. Instead of filling them with soldiers and weapons, we fill them with doctors and medical equipment and start taking care of these people who we've decimated with our bombs and our bullets. The depleted uranium we've left behind from our weapons causing birth defects and so many health issues, it's unforgivable. But we have to ask for forgiveness and apologize for what we've let our little gang of thugs get away with in our name. The end of war and terrorism is within reach now, and thanks to our automated production systems and our communication technology, it is within our power to create a world of abundance which will benefit everyone, where no one is homeless, especially our veterans, and no one is going hungry, and no one is going off to war.